This is 8.3 guided practice. We're on page number 2. All right, we're going to go through 5, 6, 7, and 8. We're going to try 2 of them together, and then you're going to try 2 of them on your own. All right, let's start with number 5 here. Click on a box to choose an expression, and then you must select all correct expressions. Okay, this must means more than one, more than one answer. All right, there could be 2 answers or 3 or 4. There could only be 1, but most likely there's more than 1. All right, so we have to check all 4 of these answer choices. And the question is, which of the following expressions are in simplest form? Okay, there's no Desmos trick for this. We just have to know the math here for number 5. So we need to see which one of these choices is in simplest form. Okay, so if you look at the first one here, we have square root of 15xy to the third. If we break down 15, that's going to be 3 and 5. We have no groups. Remember, square root, we look for groups of 2. Okay, and then I have an x. And I have 1, 2, 3 y's. Okay, since it's a square root and we're looking for groups of 2, there's a group. Okay, so since we have a group of 2 and it has not been pulled out yet, this is not in simplest form. Definitely not in simplest form. Okay, simplest form means there are no groups of 2 left over. We've simplified it as much as we can. Okay, let's try the second one here. We have on the inside, we have 3, which cannot be broken down. It's just a 3. And we have 1x, and we have 1z. Okay, there are no groups of 2 here. We cannot pull out a group of 2. So this is in simplest form. We cannot simplify, we cannot break it down anymore. No more groups of 2. All right, so that's an answer choice. But we must select all correct answers, so we got to check every choice here. For this one, we have square root of 7. 7 cannot be broken down, so we just have a 7. We have 1x and 1y. All right, there are no groups of 2, so this is also in simplest form. Okay, and then we got to check the last one. We have a square root of 25. 25 can be broken down into 5 times 5, and that is a group of 2. Okay, so this is not in simplest form. So the only 2 choices that are in simplest form are the middle 2. Okay, now something very important that you need to listen carefully to. Notice how I did not worry about the part in front of the square root. All right, I only worried about the part underneath, because if it's out front, it's already going to be simplified. We're only going to worry about the part underneath the square root and see if that can be simplified. Remember, a vocab term, the part under the square root is called the radicand. Okay, so we needed to check every option. The only 2 that could be simplified, the only 2 that were already in simplest form that were simplified completely are these middle 2. Those are your answer choices. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and do number 6 here. So quickly, number 6. What value of x would make the equation true? This is also a little tricky. We can use Desmos to kind of help us check, but there's really no Desmos trick here for the answer, except let's try something here. I'm going to try cube root. Let me get the cube root up. Let's go cube root of x equals 7 cube root of 2. All right, and is that going to give me a graph? No, it's not going to give me a graph. Okay, what if I do 2 different lines here? And let's go cube root of 7 cube root of 2 equals y. Are these going to touch anywhere? Oops. It still probably is not going to help. They are going to touch, but it's not going to help much. Okay, so yeah, there's nothing that we can really do in Desmos on this one. We're just going to have to figure it out. We could plug in numbers until we get 7 cube root of 2 to be the same thing. We know that 7 cube root of 2 is going to be a decimal, 8.8. So we could just take the cube root and plug in numbers until we find it. We could try 14. Nope, not big enough. 20, not big enough. 40, a little bit. Oh, that's too big. 100, not big enough. 500, We can keep playing that game until we get the answer, but probably the easiest way is just to think about what this really means, okay? This is a cube root, which means we would have had groups of 3. Groups of 3, all right? So in order for the 7 to be out front, that means there had to have been 3 7s on the inside of our cube root, okay? So since this is a cube root and there's a 7 outside, there had to have been 3 7s, a group of 3 on the inside. And then we also have that extra 2, okay? So the number that is on the inside here is actually going to be 7 times 7 times 7 times 2, which is 686. So our answer that we're going to type into our box is 686. Okay, so we tried a couple different ways with Desmos just to see if maybe we could find it. If you just typed in this here and just kept on plugging in numbers for X until you found the same decimal, then that will work, but it's going to take you a long time. So sometimes, especially this question, it just shows that sometimes it's just better to know the math than to try the Desmos, the Desmos shortcuts, all right? I know that you're going to have one like this on your exit ticket, so if this was a little confusing, go ahead and ask your teacher or rewind this video and go through it again, okay? I'm going to stop. You go ahead and try number 7 and 8 to simplify. Remember that since these are numbers, just go ahead and type it into Desmos here and then match up your answer choices to see which one is the same number, all right?